My name is Matt Huffman from New Jersey.
I just had a couple of people from New Jersey. What's your name? Where are you from?
Name's George. I'm from Jersey.
What can you tell me about Jersey?
Jersey's a nice, quiet place. I mean, depending on where you live, Jersey can be nice and quiet, or like very rambunctious.
The thing is, there's places like Hoboken, you know, where Hoboken's like bustling, and you know,
Yeah.
there's Newark as well. But like, you also got places like
where we came from, like these small town places that have nothing going on. It's just, you know, school. That's it.
Yeah. Have you been to like Newport? Newport
No.
is like butt fuck nowhere. Like there's literally like cows. Like,
Yeah.
So it's like it's very fast, you know.
I think New Jersey's very like, I don't want to say bipolar, but it's either heavily bustling or there's nothing to do. There's not much to it.
And Central doesn't exist.
Yeah.
What's the name of that route that goes down the whole New Jersey? Is it Route 9? That goes all the way down to the Jersey Shore?
Ford.
Or maybe no, I don't know where is it.
I
don't even know. I don't even know.
I drove up from the Jersey Shore, Cape May, and all the way to like northern Jersey. There's like nothing.
Yeah,
I didn't even see a Walmart.
Yeah. Exactly. It's just like,
and that route cuts through the whole state.
That northeast side is literally like basically just Pennsylvania. It's like just cows. And stuff.
Yeah, it's all like cows, residential life. There's not much.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the one thing that sums up Jersey is tolls.
Yeah, there's tolls, no U-turns, tolls, bad drivers.
I was like, I'm trying to avoid the tolls, but there is no way to avoid the tolls.
Yeah.
Like, if you're trying to come from here to the Jersey Shore, you gotta pay tolls.
No,
Yeah, you have to. There's no other way around it.
The other thing too is like Jersey drivers. Everyone says that, but literally, like I remember, like I don't know if you were there, but I was driving with some friends, and we were going back from Philly to Jersey. Going from Philly, my friend was driving safe. The second we went to Jersey, immediately sped up.
Yeah.
Because there's no cameras.
There's no cameras.
lined up stoplights.
They're very like sporadic, the drivers there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so what brings y'all to New York?
Well, I dorm here, so I'm usually here every other night.
And I go to Stevens, so it's like right there. So I just come down at night.
Yeah, hop the path.
Yeah, of course, hop the path.
Hoboken.
Oh, Stevens in Hoboken. It's a college.
Yeah, right across the river.
Yeah.
What kind of advice you got for the freshmen coming in next year?
That's hard.
Like with COVID specifically,
Or like any
in general.
No, just for like, you know, going to school, like what kind of experience have you learned as a student?
I think for
Going to
me,
college.
the best thing is that accept failure. In the sense that don't be surprised if there's a class you're not doing well in. Don't be surprised if you don't do the same compared to high school, you know?
I think something I'd say is don't rush anything. Like, be comfortable with the class you're taking. Expect college to start out a bit bumpy because you're coming straight from high school. You're taking a gap year. You may not know anybody there. You don't know what's going to go on. You're going in blindfolded basically.
Yeah. You need to be open.
You need to be open to new things. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, now is Facebook still relevant?
I think it's relevant. Where we come from, not very relevant, but there's communities that use Facebook actively. My mom, she grew up here. She uses Facebook every day. There's like Washington Square events. Like 3 years ago, there was like a whole
when it comes to events, I think Facebook is still
I think Facebook's very relevant for the newer age of kids and the generation growing up. Maybe not as much, but it's very relevant in today's culture.
I don't want to say it's relevant in today's culture, but it has its place.
It has its
still older people
I don't know.
use it,
You're right.
or still like meeting at events. But I wouldn't say it's like driving culture today.
Okay.
Like, you gotta think that's like Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah,
it's not,
that's more driving.
It's not really Facebook.
But I think Facebook's alive. I think it's doing well. I'll probably stay around for a few more years, a bit more.
I think it'll stay for a while.
Yeah, I think it'll stay for a bit.
That company knows what they're doing.
Yeah, they do.
They know what they're doing.
No, not the company,
The actual social media app itself.
I would say they're gonna do what they can to keep that social media app going. They're not gonna let it die. You know what I mean?
But those people who are on Facebook now are going to be dying soon.
They might be.
That's true. Yeah.
They might. I'll give it 20 years before they are.
I know, like Facebook was trying to do some like Facebook gaming kind of a thing that didn't
Yeah.
work out. So they did like what they need to do. They just need to find something that like blows up.
They're pushing towards younger audiences.
It could come back.
And I know in like there's certain communities that are very die-hard, and there's some communities that are very young that still use Facebook. There's not very many young communities that use Facebook, but there's the niches that will keep Facebook going when the older generations pass. But I don't think it's gonna outlive Twitter. I think Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, all that is gonna outlive Facebook, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I had a high school guy come on, a teenager.
Yeah.
He told me Facebook is for ghetto niggas.
Actually, I can see where he's coming from. I see where he's coming from.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you say that? I don't know. I really
Because I see all these Instagram repost things, and I don't want to like categorize ghetto, but people that grow up in like small white town suburban areas could consider that ghetto. Be like, oh, you know, I just cheated on my boyfriend, this, that. Man, I love eating the $1 pizza and fighting the rats in the subway, you know? And to some people may be considered ghetto, to others it may not, but there's certainly a ghetto side of Facebook, if you will.
No, the guy, can you do a New York accent?
Damn. How do you do a New York accent?
I don't think I
New
can.
York accent like,
Hey,
forget about it.
Hey,
What's the
forget
matter?
about it. Hey, we're gonna get some pizza. Forget about it. Get out my way. Yo, hurry up. Where you going, man? You know, I don't know.
Let me get a bacon, egg, and cheese.
Can I get a bacon, egg, and cheese?
Can I get bacon, egg, and cheese?
Hey, man, can I get a chicken bacon ranch? Chicken bacon ranch is where it's at.
That's true.
Okay, next question. Do men or women have it easier?
That's hard.
All right, first let me ask you this.
No, I don't mind. I don't mind answering. You know, it's just.
Do you have any sisters?
Yeah, I have a.
You have a sister.
All right, let me ask you this. Who got better grades in school? You or your sister?
Me,
Who got in trouble more? You or your sister?
my sister,
Or who got in more fights? You or your sister?
my sister. But I wouldn't say that's because she's like a woman. I would say it's because she's older. I would say the older one. No, because I'd say the youngest one gets more bias. I don't think it was just because like it was like a.
It's not because she's a female.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's just because like the youngest. I feel like I got a bias because I was the youngest one.
Yeah.
And I think that happens a lot with parents, you know. So.
But what about in terms of finding work? What do you think?
In finding work?
In finding work, I think.
Because I've known people, brother and sister, where the sister finds a better job. I know more cases like that than the brother finds a better job than the sister. What do y'all think?
I think in some cases, women may have it easier to get jobs in certain fields. Like, there's women today making OnlyFans. There's women today like getting into modeling agencies super easily, and they have more options in different areas. But when it comes to, let's say, the IT field or something else, some companies may be looking for the more traditional men, you know? And when the women do get into those IT office jobs, unfortunately, there has been cases of like sexual harassment at work and like abuse and stuff. So
I'm actually going to have to agree with that. I think overall, it's a bit hard to say because there are definitely some jobs where for women it'd probably be easier. So, but I think there's definitely
like being a TikToker.
Exactly.
Yeah, like if I made an OnlyFans, I don't think I'd get not nearly as many people as, let's say, like some 20-year-old girl, you know?
Anything with like intense amount of labor, like physical labor, I think is just men is just more likely to get the job. Like for instance, like if you're an Amazon truck driver.
Do you think that's just because of like people are looking for more men, or because men resort to like the more heavy lifting jobs?
I think it's a partial mix of both.
Okay.
I mean, think about it this way: if you saw a woman like a driver as like an Amazon truck driver, would you just know? Would it notice? I'm not saying like you think it's a bad way, but would you notice it? You know what I mean?
Probably wouldn't, because in the case I don't really consider like, oh, cool, it's a woman Amazon driver. Although I do think that men usually go for the more heavy lifting jobs, just because, you know, in some cases it's easier to get a job as a contractor, a delivery driver, a truck driver, whatever, rather than, you know, looking for a very hard niche job. It's very easier, very much easier.
No, but I'm saying like, again, like, I'm putting that aside, is that part I agree, but I'm saying like, for the jobs where that woman is harder to get, I think it will stand out to individuals. I'm not saying they're like saying it's a bad thing, but they're gonna say like, oh look, a woman's in this field. It's like subconsciously. I think that subconscious thought is still in our society.
I definitely think that's still there too. You don't see many like
It is not as prevalent when it comes to like IT, because in IT there's been more women in fields. But I think when it comes to specifically like, again, like physical labor kind of jobs,
Yeah.
I think it's just
I agree. Like,
Yeah.
when was the last time you saw like a woman contractor?
yeah, exactly.
I mean, they're out there, but in our society,
Think of like a super for a building. When was the last
Yeah.
time you see a woman super for a building?
it stands out more in our society.
Yeah.
One day I don't think it will, but in some cases, men could have the more backbreaking jobs, not because of gender, but because, as I mentioned before, some way there's a tendency that men pick the more heavy lifting blue collar jobs than women. Although I think, let's say you give a man an office job, you give a woman an office job, you know, they could work just the same. It's a genderless through the computer job. There's no like disadvantage and advantage. But because of the whole like sexual harassment thing, because a lot of women get sexually harassed nowadays. It's very sad. I think women have it harder when it comes to regular office jobs. But in the case that we're talking about heavy lifting, dangerous jobs, because there's I guess there's more men working heavy lifting jobs than women. Men have a higher rate of death than women when it comes to working.
That is true. That is true. I guess this goes back to the original question. Do we think that for men or women, which one is harder? I really can't put a finger. I still can't. Like, that's such a that's a really big generalization. I think I said at first I was leaning a bit towards like for a woman it's harder.
Yeah.
But now thinking about it more, like I really can't make it specific.
I agree. I think
It really depends.
it's really subjective to say who has it easier, because there's such a broad like range of what's easier and what isn't. You know, when you put like a man and a woman in like a construction job, who knows? The man could have a higher risk of death because there's more people working, more men working the heavy lifting jobs. But in office jobs, women have harder than men. So it's, you can't really pinpoint who has it easier and who's not.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
What about dating though?
Dating?
Dating? That's a whole other thing.
That's a
Don't
whole.
you think women have more of a choice, or no?
I think men have it harder for dating. We're like, it's so much easier for a girl to reject a guy than a guy to reject a girl. What's that like Tinder statistic? Where like,
I have no clue.
it's like,
I know what you're talking about. I don't know the exact.
it was like, I don't remember. It was like the lower bracket of women picked the higher bracket of men, and it was like the lower bracket of men picked the lower bracket of women, saying like there's some sort of, I don't remember it completely, but there's some sort of like issue here, there's some sort of inequality in that sense, where like the women tend to go for the higher men, and then there's that bottom like set of women, like the rest, where they're just floating, you know?
I do think men have it harder in the dating area than women do, because as you mentioned, like all these women can go for like the higher percentage of men, but all the other people, all the other men are just like kind of there, just floating about.
Yeah, exactly.
When it comes to dating apps and all that, of course. But I mean, walking down the street nowadays, you see someone, you compliment them, chances are they're gonna either A, ignore you, B, thank you, walk on, and C, like, just, you know, everything else, but actually like progress.
And there are people nowadays that get really offended. Right?
People
Like,
get
things
really
like
offended
that,
nowadays.
Like, obviously, like, you shouldn't, like, harass people in the street, right? Saying things like, hey, I think you're cute, or things like that. I think some people get genuinely, like, extremely offended just because of that. And I think that culture is starting to be where more, it's very hard for, like, a stranger to be, like, straight up approach a girl. Like, that kind of a thing. Because, you know, a lot of people are afraid of sexual harassment. That kind
Yeah, it's getting a lot more, getting a lot more awareness now.
I'm pretty sure it's harder for men.
I agree.
Yeah.
There's probably more like deeper things that go into why it's harder, but if a woman walked up to me and complimented me, I probably wouldn't be offended. I'd probably talk to her.
I wouldn't care, yeah, exactly.
But, you know, as you mentioned, some women may, you know, they're like, because they're so used to all the sexual harassment and stuff, they'll just like back off, you know, and it's just strange nowadays.
Yeah.
You'll be labeled as creepy.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah, exactly. This label is creepy.
Whereas a woman it's much less likely for her.
I think
so. Someone's crazy.
How do you? I could tell when someone's crazy when A, they wouldn't do something that I would never do. Like if someone drops something in like the subway, like on the actual tracks, they jump down to go get it and they climb back up. I'm like, this guy's fucking crazy. I would never do that. and so dangerous. Or like the guy's very emotionally volatile, you know?
Right, yeah.
Where you ask a guy questions, you mention, hey, what time is it? And he's like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about, man? Get off my back, man. Are you trying to fucking jump me? And it's like, yeah, this guy's crazy. He's emotionally volatile. He's not in the most sane spot, you know?
I think basically, as we're growing up, there are certain social norms that we're taught through our culture.
Yeah.
I think when any of those norms are violated, and there's no reason we can think of it, I think that's what makes it this crazy. Like for instance,
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
Yeah, let's say like your friend that comes from Norway, right? Let's say he does something weird. You can come up with an excuse. You say, oh, he's not from here. You don't immediately think of him as crazy, right?
Yeah.
But if somebody you know, like native, like stays here and does something really weird, something that deviates from our norm, example, talking to a lot of people around the street, I think to us that's weird because we haven't seen it.
I knew a guy from South Carolina. He moved into the dorms, and South Carolina has the southern hospitality that a lot of more southern states do. And they all talk to each other, and everyone knows everyone. So what happened was, this guy got here, he was walking around, and he was saying hi to everybody on the street he saw, and he was talking to everybody. And some people may find like, this guy's crazy, he's just talking to everyone. Because, I mean, the New York way is, you just look where you're going. If anyone says hi to you, it's either to ask for money or to jump you, you know?
Exactly, yeah.
But this guy was completely normal, but to some people he may be seen as crazy because he's talking to everyone. It's like, this is not normal, man. What the hell?
Again, it's when somebody deviates from your social norm.
Exactly.
And even then, like, think about it this way. The reason why I say, like, your social norm in particular is that things might not seem as crazy to you when you're with friends. Like, sometimes when, like, with friends, you'll do, like, some really stupid shit, or, like, if you're high or something like that, right? But the thing is, like, to other people, you don't think about how other people think, but everybody else around you is probably thinking, man, these people are crazy.
Yeah,
It's because in their social norm, like let's say you're high or something, all those other people around you, they're just sober. They're just trying to probably go to a restaurant or work or something, and they're just seeing people being idiots. And they're probably going to think, this is weird, why are these people doing it? So it's what seems out of your social norm to yourself.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'll be straight with you. When I'm in South Carolina, I'm much more likely to talk to random people. Whereas when I'm here, I don't really do that because like I kind of look at like what the social norms are here,
exactly.
and kind of do like, you know, when I was in South Carolina, I wasn't even wearing masks like when I was outdoors. I mean, I would go into a Walmart, put on my mask, and once I left Walmart, I take it off. But here, it's like everybody's wearing masks on the street,
right? Yeah, exactly.
So I'm going to do that too, and that's another.
When I was in Florida, there was this guy, full on. He believed COVID was 100% fake. He didn't have a mask in the car, and I was like, it was weird because like, this is like a whole other thing, but there's this weird thing when you see something in the news and then when you see it in reality. And when I saw that guy in reality saying COVID's fake, I don't believe it at all. Like he was full on right, like 4 billion% like right, and like I was like so surprised. I just never thought like I could imagine like seeing somebody that like is so strongly believing that's fake. I know it's kind of going off topic, but I just found it very strange.
Yeah, that is very strange. I completely agree with what you said about the social norms on where you are and where you're from.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, someone from Texas or South Carolina may be seen as crazy here. Whereas, you know, I don't know, because where I'm from, we have a lot of like foreign exchange students, from people from Norway, Dubai, Morocco, and they do some like things that may be considered crazy here, you know?
Right, yeah. But again, it's also if you can find a justification for why they're doing something. If you can't find one, it's weird.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. So I completely agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
There was a guy over there. He looked like he was on crack or something, but he was behind one of the benches, like in between two bushes, and he was just standing there looking deadpan, just at nothing. And I was like, this guy's just like looking at us? Is he good? And I thought he was about to like just knock out, die, or like stab someone, but there's some crazy ass people.
Some crazy
you know?
People. It's New York. It's New York, you know?
Some real crazy.
Real crazy shit, yeah.
If you could redo any part of your life, what would it be?
Man, I don't even know. I gotta think about it.
Nothing.
Y'all want to come back to it?
No,
I'll
answer it now.
You got nothing?
No regrets.
I know. I would change nothing, because if I could
But
go
what
back,
about like an injury that you got, like you broke your ankle?
if
you
I could
wouldn't
go
change that?
back and change something, and I'd be the same person I am.
Yeah, I mean like a mistake that you made. Haven't you ever had that happen to you? I wish I wouldn't have done that. I wish I would have done that differently.
Okay.
Because you know, like some people will say, I wish I would have done high school differently.
There's one thing I would have done. My best friend passed a while ago. Not that while ago. It was more like a year now. It's a year and a few months. I'd go back and I'd make sure that wouldn't happen, because I was supposed to be with them. when it happened, and I would go back and I'd change that. But if not that, I would change nothing else. That would be the only thing I would change. Because without that, I wouldn't be who I am today. You know, there's nothing else I'd want to change. I'm content. The things that I regretted, I'm already like content with. Oh, I made a mistake in high school. I said some stupid stuff in high school. I got in an argument with my parents. Yeah, like it happened, but I'm content with it today. I accepted who I am. That'd be the only thing I'd go back to change.
You know, I thought about it, and like, it's only be like a small thing. The only thing I wish I could like go back in time and tell my parents in some way to like speak Spanish in the house when I was a kid. Because like I have a lot of experience where, I mean, especially like with working, so many people come up to me and they immediately start speaking Spanish to me, and I just look at them like, ¿Cómo estás? Like,
yeah.
I don't even know. Like, I literally like don't know anything. Like, I feel like I have some disconnect with like my Spanish culture.
I fully agree.
Yeah.
It happens in my family too, because I'm also Spanish.
Yeah.
Where I started learning Spanish as a kid, but it stopped. We didn't speak Spanish in my household. So when I go up to people that talk Spanish and my family that talks fluent Spanish, there's a bit of a disconnect there.
Yeah.
I guess I'd change that, because that's very minor.
Yeah,
but it's still like
major,
long term.
Yeah, that's major. I think it's major. Because if you took,
it's a minor change,
that opens up so many doors.
It's a minor change with a long-term effect, a major effect.
No, like I feel like so dumb because like as a kid, I really like hated Spanish. Like I was like, oh my god, these are all just people that drink Corona. Like literally, I was literally like, these are people that drink Corona and start screaming. Like literally, I mean, partially true, but like, it was literally like, I don't know, I feel like you just get a disconnect, you know? I feel like once you start like speaking with somebody in their language, you just feel so much connected to them. So I wish there was a lot more like of my relatives, and like especially this one time where like I think I told you like I have like a stepbrother and a stepsister technically, and they live in the DR, and they came down and stayed at my house for like a week and a half. And like literally that was like, shout out to Google Translate, because that literally like just like, oh my god, I needed that so much. It was so hard. It was so hard talking to them.
Now thinking about it, I'd change that too, because that's something that's very long term when it comes to like relationships with your family and everything else.
Yeah.
It'd be so much nicer to be able to talk to, you know, the cafeteria lady or my family fluently.
Yeah.
I've never been able to talk to my grandma fluently.
Yeah.
I still probably won't, but you know, it'd be nice.
I mean, other than that, I'm gonna have to like partially agree with you as well, because although I feel like I've made a lot of mistakes, I feel like I should regret. They formed me to make who I am now.
I accepted it.
I feel like if I didn't make those mistakes, I would have made them later, which would have been worse.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I made mistakes as a kid.
I agree.
And the thing is, like, whether we agree with it or not, people from our own race are always going to gravitate towards us.
Yeah.
And if we can't really, you know, express ourselves, then we're missing out on an opportunity. Because I mean, I'm Asian, right? A lot of Asian people just come to me just because I'm Asian. So, like, if I wasn't able to communicate with them in Asian, then, you know, that's like a big, like, disadvantage to me.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, now what were you doing during the lockdown in March and April? How'd you spend that time?
Well, I spent that time...
Because everything was shut down, you couldn't really do anything, so you had all this extra free time.
Yeah.
How'd you spend that time?
Well, I spent that lockdown time, honestly, just sitting inside playing video games. There was nothing to do.
Nice.
Physically, everything was closed. I mean, and everyone that like would want to hang out, their parents wouldn't let them, and this and that.
We're talking about like early, like
we're talking about like last year.
April,
yeah. I stayed inside till like May, and then like someone wanted to hang out, and it was very stupid, but you know, that's when people started to hang out more, in at least our town. But March, April, May, stayed inside, you know?
For me, I also played a lot of it, especially like right at March, played a lot of video games. I picked up like learning Japanese. That's when I started. I started learning for fun, and it started from there. But I feel like a lot of people have picked up a new hobby, especially. I feel like bread. Stuff with bread has been a very like noticeably more popular trend with COVID. I don't get it.
Making bread now.
I don't get it.
So
It's been like a COVID hobby. I really don't.
Also because it's cheap and it's easier to make.
Yeah, I guess that's
It's
true.
like, oh, you know what I did in lockdown? I can make a croissant now. It's like,
Literally.
oh, cheers, boys.
No, but yeah, I guess for me, just video games and then just learning Japanese. That's really been it. That's what I've been doing. Yeah.
So you didn't make any bread?
Sorry?
You didn't make any bread?
No, I didn't make any bread. No. Actually,
You didn't start cooking or anything like that?
Nah, nothing.
No, I didn't pick up any new hobbies.
Like actual hobbies, like physical no, not really, nothing.
Because what I've gathered is that a lot of people who used to eat out, they're now cooking, so that kind of changes.
Yeah, that's probably
Actually,
it with the bread thing.
There was one thing I did actually. I remember now. I started skating a lot more.
Really? Like longboard or skating?
Longboard, because at the time I was already learning to skate for a bit now. It was like it's been 2 months, and like towards the end of February is when I bought my longboard. And now that all the roads were empty and everything was clear, and it was it was getting nicer out, so I started skating like every day. And thankfully, that was something I picked up on a lot more.
Yeah.
I probably still would have learned it without the lockdown,
Probably, yeah.
but it was nice.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Okay, where were y'all coming from before you came to this park?
We came from Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah, Hell's
We
Kitchen.
were at Empanada place.
What was that place called?
Empanada Mama.
That place is really good.
Really fucking good.
fucking good.
Oh, it was so good.
I have an empanada added to my weird but tastes good empanada list of mac and cheese empanadas. That's something I don't expect to go together, but it did.
They had some crazy ass flavors. They had flavors like cheese pizza, pepperoni. I had a cheeseburger empanada. A cheeseburger empanada. Crazy.
Only New York. Literally only New York.
All right, now where are y'all going once you leave?
Where are we going?
I don't know.
That's a great question.
We're just gonna. I don't know, man.
Not right now. We literally just came here and said, screw it. See what's going on.
Yeah.
We have no plan.
This is like a last minute plan. He's like, hey, you want to come?
Yeah, it's literally like, we literally planned this at like 5:45 like p.m. today, like a couple hours ago. And then we just say, all right, we're just walking around.
Honestly, I don't know where we're gonna go after this.
I don't know either. Probably
Maybe we'll go like somewhere stupid, somewhere fun. Maybe just go home. I have no clue.
I have no clue either.
We'll just go wherever the road takes us at that
Improv is
point.
a wonderful skill.
All right, now if you could time travel, what year would you go to?
You mean like time travel and go back?
Past or
Any
future?
kind of time travel.
Like time travel and go back or stay in that time?
Come back too. Oh, I mean, you could stay there if you wanted to.
Okay, got you. Okay, so
Is it?
definitely not the future.
Why not?
I don't want to see the future. Well, it's also like that whole idea of like the divergence theory, where like there's different timelines, and if you do anything to fuck up one, it's gonna change it significantly. I kind of believe in that because that's the only thing that solves the whole like time paradox kind of a thing.
I see that too.
So, and also like, I don't know, man. I don't want to see it. I just don't like. I feel like it could either be really good or really, really shit. And I feel like if I was the only one that knew the future,
That burden would be heavy.
that would really bother me. Like, what if like in the future, like we ended up becoming like North Korea or something like that? Like, what if?
What if it was like the far, like 1,000 years ahead future? What about
Yeah,
that?
where
Like,
you were dead, right?
Oh, like I was dead?
yeah.
like we're talking way beyond our own like.
Even
era.
100 years later, you'd be dead.
100 years, I still wouldn't want to see again because like that's like a little like at least like the next generation. Like
That'd be
let's say
burden.
if I have kids, I know my kids will be living that, you know. But 1,000 years, I guess that I don't really care. That I don't mind taking a look at. But I feel like I would want to probably take a look at the past more. But when, I really don't know. I'm still thinking about it.
I'd want to go to the future easily. 100%. If I was able to go somewhere, I wouldn't go too close in the future. Like I wouldn't go 50 years in the future. I'd go like 1,000 years. Because hey, I'm not gonna be around. My kids aren't gonna be around. Shit, my bloodline might not even be around. We might all just die. But I want to see what happens. You know, just for the creativity fun part.
The thing is,
I don't care about the past that much.
the reason why I say the past is because I don't think history is going to be 100% accurate. And you know, so I
That's
feel like
fair.
I really want to see the
You want to
truth.
prove the books.
Yeah, I really want to see the truth
Okay.
of like what happened
Which
in the
year,
past.
though? Which year?
That is
Where
what
would
I'm
you
still
go?
thinking about. Honestly,
I don't know. I mean, as I mentioned, I don't really have a drive to go in the past and do anything wrong. It is what it is. I'm here now. That's all that matters. But where would you go?
I'm still like, I'm still thinking
let's
about
get
it.
to
You
the
know?
next
Yeah,
one.
go back to.
Yeah,
Let's go back
yeah,
to.
yeah.
I'll go back to that one.
Where would you be if you were in New York or New Jersey?
If I could choose,
Yeah. No, I mean realistically.
Oh,
realistically.
really?
Okay.
Let's say New York and New Jersey didn't exist.
Either,
I mean, would you be like in
Either-
Florida or somewhere?
either. You mean like
Texas?
if I had to? You mean like if I had to pick a state, or if you mean
Like,
realistically?
Let's say New York and New Jersey didn't
No, but I
exist.
mean like, you mean like if
Where-
I picked a realistic, where do my circumstances end up being in my life? Like,
Obviously, it's gonna have to be somewhere where you
no,
can
but I mean like,
sustain
you think
yourself.
like, oh, my parents would probably live here, so I'd be here.
Yeah,
or I mean
your
like if I
parents
had
will
to
be with you then.
Okay, I get that then. So honestly, either Pennsylvania or the DR. I mean, that sounds very like very like far apart.
No, I was
but,
gonna
like,
say the same thing.
Yeah, but it's because like my mom like was born in the DR, so if she probably didn't have any interest in New York, she probably would have just stayed in DR, and I probably would have been born in DR. If not, Pennsylvania, 'cause my parents love Pennsylvania.
Actually, I was about to say like not the same states, but the same area. I was gonna say if not New York or New Jersey, Virginia. My dad's side of family lives there. They've been there for like ever. Or Colombia, because my mom's side has been there forever, and my dad's been there. I don't see anywhere else my family would have gone besides those two places, and they're very opposite. Virginia and Colombia are completely different, and everything from animals to culture to weather, everything's different. But one of the two, probably Virginia.
I think probably DR for me.
Okay.
So it sounds like family is going to be the determining factor.
I mean, yeah, right? My mom gave birth to me, right?
Where else would I go? Yeah.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
So your family could be like in Nevada or somewhere, and that's where you would be too.
Yeah, and that's just how it works.
It's just what it is.
You'll go to school if you have $5,000 coming each month.
Yeah, I would go to school.
Yeah,
I would still go to school, still get a job.
You would?
I would.
I mean,
still.
I'm talking about for life, though. You're saying for life.
Well, until I retire, but I would still like do like the normal things I would do.
I fully agree. I think if I was given a steady amount of money every month, I'd still work. Because if you're not working, if you're not being progressive, you're gonna get depressed. You're gonna get bored of life.
Yeah.
What's there to do if you're just collecting money? There's no drive to do anything. Life would get boring. I'd get depressed. Humans are made for working and being busy and active.
Exactly.
So I'd want to learn something. I'd want to pursue something. I'd want to work.
I have like the personality where I feel like I need to make a contribution to society in some way, shape, or form. I mean, like, I was raised here as a kid. Everything was given to me. I did all this stuff, and now I'm just gonna go out of high school or whatever and just not make anything. I feel like I need to make some kind of contribution or production, you know?
Yeah.
If you're just gonna get $5,000 a week, you're not gonna move up in life. You could take that $5,000 and invest, and then you can make more money, and then you can go up. Like, if you're just gonna get $5,000, you're not going up. I feel like in life, I have the drive to go up. Instead of just remains constant.
That too. I think also I'd probably feel a little like guilt.
Yeah,
a little bit of guilt because you're just taking
like,
all this money in it.
Where's the money going? Like,
What am I doing?
Like,
I'm
if
just sitting here eating Chipotle.
Like, if it's coming from like the government and it's coming from other people's tax dollars, that would make an insane amount of guilt. Because I know I feel like I wouldn't deserve it.
It wouldn't be worth it.
Yeah, but even then, let's say it's coming out of magic, whatever. But like, I still feel like I need to make a contribution to society.
I'd still want to work too because I'd feel extremely bored and I'd feel a guilt that all these people are working and all these people are busting their ass. I'm just in here doing nothing.
Yeah.
Not only would I be depressed, but I'd be like, what am I worth? I'm not doing shit.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? So yeah, I'd work easily.
Yeah, I would
100%.
Too. I would.
How much more time?
All right, I've traveled to Florida, Virginia, obviously like Pennsylvania, Colorado once. And then outside the States, I went to Germany and Poland.
You went to Germany and Poland?
Yeah, I did. It was literally right before COVID. Right before, like February.
What?
Yeah, it was like the week of the week of my birthday and the week after. It was
Oh
a school
yeah,
trip.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the school trip.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was literally right before COVID.
Yeah,
I'm
wow.
pretty sure I got sick on the trip, like really sick,
Yeah.
and I was thinking in my head, after, like, this is probably COVID, but I got an antibody and it wasn't, but like, I was really like sick, like all the COVID symptoms and everything.
I got that too. When we went to PAX in Boston, I came back, I felt like death. I got all the COVID symptoms. It was horrible. I don't know if it was COVID or not. I never took an antibody test. But when it comes to the places I have traveled, it's mostly just through Massachusetts, all the East Coast. I only really stayed at Massachusetts, Virginia, New York, New Jersey, and that's about it when it comes to the US. But I've been to Medellin, Colombia, with my family, of course. Besides that, I haven't really traveled that far out. I haven't been to Europe. I want to go to Europe. I want to travel the world, but I haven't got the chance to.
I want to go to like UK, Spain, because I actually know a good chunk of people in Spain.
Yeah.
Japan would be nice as well.
Japan would be really nice.
Japan would be really nice. And other than that, yeah, that's really. I guess that's my option at the moment. I'll probably think about it later.
I'd want to travel more. I wish I could travel more. I really do.
Yeah.
But I've never had the financial situation where I could
young,
travel.
You know?
We're
really
so young.
Like,
we still have school.
Age, you know?
We don't have the time. We don't have the money.
Yeah.
But I would like to travel. But to the place I have traveled, not much.
Yeah.
Sadly.
What's on your list?
Well, as you already mentioned, I'd want to go to Japan. Of course, everyone wants to go to Japan. Who doesn't? I'd want to go to Italy. I'd want to go to Spain. I'd want to go to London, Europe, the UK. I'd want to go to Poland and Norway. Maybe Sweden. I really want to go to Amsterdam because it looks very pretty there.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
I was always considering Russia. I don't have much drive to go to Russia. It's just like, hey, shit, let's go to Russia, you know? But mostly Japan, Italy, and I guess like Florida and like California just to see the other sides of the U.S.
You been to Florida?
No, I've never been to Florida.
Wow.
Disneyland, nope. Six Flags,
Texas
nope.
is another place I want to see.
Texas seems really nice.
Because especially like with booming tech, I didn't think about that. You know, honestly, saying Poland, I love Germany so much, but like Poland, I honestly wasn't too big of a fan of.
Really?
Like, there's the capital, and that's really it. Like, it's really not that much. I mean, maybe there's some parts I just didn't see, but I felt like Germany has so much more.
I feel like I'd want to go there more for the cultural aspect rather than like what the land sites, you know? I want to see how it is over there because it's so very different from America and the East Coast.
It was pretty different. I mean,
also, I want to go to Iceland. Iceland and New Zealand are two other places I totally forgot about, but I really want to go there.
Why Iceland?
Iceland's beautiful.
You don't mind the cold?
No, I don't mind the cold. I mean, I'll dress accordingly for it, but Iceland has the nicest areas. It's so pretty. And New Zealand is just quiet. It's nice. It's very, it's, I don't know, it seems serene, almost.
Greece too.
When you make these decisions, do you base them off of like the YouTube videos you watched, or how do you decide?
Just things I've heard over just general
Probably
media.
just YouTube, actually.
Like, I haven't seen many YouTube videos, but I've heard from other people's cultures about like Greece, Japan, all these other places. Are there drums here too?
How did y'all become friends?
Okay.
Wait, you tell your story first, and then he'll tell his story.
Okay, so there is our other friend, Matt, the other Matt. He went to my elementary school, and basically, this is so stupid. Like the story of how we stopped being friends. So it was 5th grade. I remember this so clear. He hit me with a piece of cardboard on the back. I don't know why, I was so like offended by it. I got so like upset about it that I told the teacher and he got detention. And then he was so mad about getting detention that we just stopped being friends for like years. It was like until 8th grade. And
No,
then
7th grade.
7th?
Yeah, because I met you 7th grade.
Oh, okay, gotcha. And then from then, I called him one day randomly. I somehow just knew his phone number, like his house phone. I met him so many times through 5th grade. Like, we were like friends for like years. And then I called him and I was like, hey, sorry about that cardboard thing years ago. He's like, oh, it's fine. And then he's just like, hey, you want to meet my friends? And I was just like, sure. And then that's how I met you and some of the other people. And that friend group just stick through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also met you through Matt. What happened was,
How do you remember meeting him?
I remember meeting him through Matt. It was after like the first week of 7th grade. I just went to the middle school for like the first time. And I met Matt and he was like, oh, what's your Skype? I'll invite you to the call.
Fucking Skype.
So I give him my Skype, I joined the call, and I guess it was right after you may have joined the call. Because you were there and like 3 other people were there. But ever since that, we've been close friends since.
Yeah.
Since like 7th grade, beginning of 7th grade.
I don't remember the exact first time we met, but I just remember like from then I was like, hey, just met these people, and then that group just really stuck through. That group really stuck. Sometimes I kind of fell out the group. I think more in high school. I think I kind of fell out.
Yeah, more like junior year.
Yeah, junior year was the big one. Yeah. Junior year I really fell out, but I think like senior year I just came back. So it's just we just stuck through.
Yeah, no, we've been friends since 7th grade.
Yeah.
And now we're in college.
Crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So now, if y'all don't mind, you can describe his strengths and weaknesses, and he'll describe yours.
Go for
I mean,
it.
since you've known each other for such a long time. Go for it. Who wants to go first?
You go first,
Or
because
do
I'm,
you want to even do this?
I'm clueless.
I don't even know either. I'm still thinking about
Are
it.
you secure enough with your friendship?
I don't care.
Yeah,
I literally,
yeah, of course.
I literally don't care.
Or how would you describe his strengths and weaknesses?
How would I describe my friendship with him, or how would I
your
describe
strengths and weaknesses.
Strengths and
your
weaknesses.
strengths and weaknesses? Your girlfriend's track record.
Yeah.
a little bit of a flaw. I can't say much.
That's a complete weakness.
I can't say much.
Right.
I can't say much about your girlfriend's track record. You have a history. Don't
I have a really strange history. You're right.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, there were some points, especially like in the group, where, I mean, it's happened multiple times, where things just got too, like, we always joked too much. Especially it was like an issue in like the high school like years.
Yeah.
We just always joked. Like we never had like, you know, just like a real conversation.
Yeah.
And I feel like you were a part of that whole thing where like anytime someone would have a real conversation, you'd be like, haha, just make a joke or whatever, and then it completely killed them.
That's fair. That's fair.
Just, like when you just made like some like, not, I don't want to say it's just you, because it was definitely like multitude.
Yeah.
But like when all those jokes are being made, it just kind of separated the connection.
Yeah.
Between us. But other than that, I really can't say that much. I really can't say that much. Oh, I didn't even see your strengths. That's messed up. That's really
That's fucked up.
really
this guy, this fucking guy right here. Look at this guy, real funny guy.
Strengths. That's it. No, I'm just kidding. You're very. You're like. No.
Oh yeah, no.
I'm putting your friends into the test here.
No. Literally, you're somebody I look up to in regards to being very sociable. I feel like you can really talk to anybody. Like I feel like you really can.
Thank you.
That would be like, I think it's like your biggest strength. And also like, I guess you're just very sociable. That'd be like the biggest one I would say. And like, you're not like, the thing is like I see you like going like places in life too. Like I see you having a life direction. So it's having that balance of being sociable while having a life direction, I think is very good.
Thank you.
That's what I would say.
Thank you.
Alright, now you go.
Alright. So, as mentioned, you have a somewhat interesting track record too, buddy, of girlfriends.
You had to.
It's only fair. I mean, we've already gone over that.
Yeah,
it's boring.
it's
boring. What's a weakness? I don't know.
Does he show up to places on time?
I'm Dominican. What do I say?
No, he doesn't. But no one does. So
I
it doesn't.
literally told him today, I'm here, and I said, but I'm Dominican, which means I'm in the station.
Yeah,
I'm not here.
He said he was here, but he wasn't actually there. He was like 3 blocks down.
It's the Dominican time.
So his weakness is coordination?
I wouldn't call it. It's not. No, that's not his weakness.
Really.
That's not his weakness.
Okay, by the way.
I think one of your weaknesses, also as mentioned, is like the kind of the deep talk too, because no one in the group really is that serious until someone's drunk, and usually it's either sometimes you would have taken something a bit too seriously, no offense, and like me personally, I just keep to myself. The things that I find serious I don't talk about. You know, it is what it is, but there's a little bit of an emotional weakness in some things when you get invested in it.
Yeah, I can kind of see that, yeah.
Yeah. Besides that, I don't know. I've never considered anyone's weaknesses. And your strengths, you're very determined. And like, if you want to learn something, you're gonna learn it. You learned how to do play the guitar, the Rubik's Cube, you're learning Japanese. You can just like look at something, you're like, yeah, I'll learn it. You're very, very determined at learning multiple things. You know, it's crazy. There's some people that like struggle to even learn the most thing they're passionate about.
Yeah.
I think that's one of your greatest strengths.
Thanks.
And when you put your mind to something, you'll eventually do it.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's all constructive criticism here, by the way. That's how we grow as people.
Yeah, it is. It is.
All right, now, how has he changed over the years?
Him?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we've both have become more mature.
Definitely more mature.
Because we're able to not just make only jokes now. Like,
yeah, that is true.
I think junior year, we weren't able to have actual serious conversations about anything. So you definitely strengthened up in that region. But you didn't. none of us changed much. We've always stayed like roughly the same.
Well, I think one big thing with you, it might be with me as well, a lot less video games, and you did a lot more stuff like not just playing video games all day. In the sense that, like, look, you're going to the gym. Like, you're going to the gym and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Doing more adult-like things instead of just saying, haha, play video games all day.
I think we both made that transition.
Yeah. Minus the
junior.
gym. Minus the gym.
We both made that transition junior year. Because you learned the guitar junior year, right?
Yeah.
You learned how to play instruments. And then I learned, I went to veterinary school.
Yeah.
So, like, we both just started learning different things. We stopped playing video games as much.
Yeah.
And video games is great. There's nothing wrong with only playing video games. It's just, it's nice to actually get out.
I don't know how we used to do this.
I don't know.
Because like I feel like it's really hard for me to just sit down and play a video game for like 8 hours or like 10 hours.
Yeah,
like, except Minecraft. I don't know what the fuck's in Minecraft.
Minecraft's some strange
something
shit.
about that game's magic, but like any other game, I really can't sit down that long.
I can't sit down and play it that long anymore. And really, like, I'll play GTA Heist, but once I'm in the group with everyone else, I'll play for a few hours. Even then, after that, I'll feel dead.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Like, I don't want to do anything else after that. It's like, oh, I feel like shit now.
Yeah.
But I think you definitely strengthen less video games and more serious department.
Yeah. I think with you.
Hey, how y'all doing? Hey, I hope you're having a good time out here. I'm trying to get $1 or $2 to get some food.
Sorry, man.
Sorry, bro. I ain't got nothing on me, man.
Thank you very much.
Have a good one, though.
No problem.
Have a good one.
So, are you done with describing his changes?
Yeah, I mean,
Actually,
I'm done on my side. I don't know.
There was one thing. Oh, going back to your strength about like how you're very sociable. I feel like that strength didn't come right away. I feel like it came over time because, like, I think honestly, like in middle school, but I think it's applied to all of us. We all could really only talk to the people in our group. We were just so like, I don't want to say cringy is the right word, but like
You're so, like,
Awkward.
awkward
and closed in.
Awkward and closed in. That's the, we were so closed in. But I feel like your
Yeah.
socialization came in over time, especially during like high school, I would say.
high school definitely.
Yeah.
So he developed his communication.
Yeah, I think it developed over time. So initially, I think we were all like very closed.
Everyone was very closed
Hard
in.
to socialize too. Yeah.
Hard to talk to each other too. We'd only make jokes.
Yeah.
Nothing more.
You see yourself like perhaps married with kids, perhaps owning your own house, still here in New York, somewhere else,
Okay.
in another state somewhere.
Where I am, I really can't say where I am, but what I do, I definitely want to work at like a company, like a tech company for like cybersecurity. Whether it's like a startup or a thing, I don't really know. But I think until I'm like mid or late 20s, I really just want to work on personal growth, having a stable income, investments, having a house. I think is something I would really want. Like having assets to my name, I think it's really nice to have. Like imagine like you having like all these like stocks like long-term people have, all this personal stuff too, you know? I think that's something I want to do, personal growth and consistency.
Yeah. As I mentioned earlier, everyone in the dorms upstairs, everyone's older. I'm the youngest guy there. Everyone's like, I celebrated this girl's 26th birthday. I'm barely 19. That's the issue. I've seen people 5 years from now, they're in the same spot that I am right now. So I don't know where I'm gonna be in 5 years. Realistically, I'd like to be in New York still, studying the neurological aspect of humans and the behavioral like patterns. But when it comes to personal life, I am not getting married in 5 years. I hope to have a place for my own in 5 years. And I just want to focus on myself until like 30. Or maybe start looking for somebody like late 20s. But till then, personal growth, I don't want to expand.
Honestly, I'm not even gonna, I can't even agree with you on the point of trying to look. I don't want to try to look. Because I feel like if you put in, I mean, this kind of goes back to
you know what I meant, like open
no,
the
I
marriage.
get you.
Yeah.
I get you, yeah. But I mean, like from late 20 on, if it happens, it happens. If it don't happen, I don't
doesn't-
I
let
don't
it come
care.
naturally at that
I
point.
don't care.
Yeah.
It's just the issue that like, I don't know, I just don't want to put in that much work just to find somebody, and it's just going to feel like artificial and just get married for 20 years and then divorce. It'd be a whole cycle. It'd be a whole cycle.
Yeah, I mean, preferably I'd like to have somebody in my late 20s, but I'm not gonna go out of my way to look for it. I'll let it happen naturally.
Fair enough.
I don't want to like join a bunch of dating apps.
Yeah,
Be like,
no,
oh,
fuck
I'm
that.
looking for a wife, dude. I want to have children. No, I'm gonna let it happen naturally, you know.
Yeah, I get you.
But realistically, I don't know if I'm gonna be here in 5 years. I don't know if I'm gonna have a wife in my late 20s and like 30s. I'd like to, but until like the next 5 years, just focus on myself, get through with school, study.
Yeah.
That's it. I have nothing else. That I want to do at least.
Oh, yeah.
What kind of questions would you ask if you were doing it?
I'd ask about more about the people and what they think of themselves and what they think of their friends. Because me personally, I've always loved studying humans and animals and shit, and how people view themselves and view others. So I'd like to focus on more psychological and neurological questions like, oh, how do you feel about yourself? What's your greatest insecurities? What do you feel about the society and what's going on today, like with COVID and everything else? But when it comes to questions, yeah, I'd focus more on the person themselves and what they think of themselves.
I would ask, I would ask them, what's your #1 motto in life? I think such a small thing says a lot about an individual.
It could go very far.
I think it says a lot about an individual. What's your #1 motto? That's what I would ask. Very simple. Just what's your I just like learning about I think I just like learning about different people and the way they think. And just like the way like certain people behave in a sense. I don't want to say like specifically like with you, like you're studying different personalities, you're studying the brain and things like that. I don't have too much interest in specifically the neurological brain, but just seeing people, seeing different kinds of people really interests me. So I feel like, again, that one small question answers a lot about a character.
I agree.
Wait, you said you studied animals?
I went to school for veterinary science for 2 years before this, so I'm a certified veterinary technician, or I was supposed to be. I didn't go into that field in the end. I got my first aid, medical licensing, all that stupid stuff. But when I graduated, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I learned what I wanted to learn. I got the information that I wanted, but I'm not too interested in working in a veterinary hospital. So I guess more inspiration came when I was doing a research project on the communications between monkeys and how they talk to each other. And it was very stupid because when they want to threaten each other, they go, they smile at each other to show their teeth, and it's like, this is fucking hilarious. They do all these hand signals. And I guess that really sparked where I want to go today, but yeah, I studied veterinary science for 2 years.
What is the main differences between animals and humans? Because a lot of times I like to make those comparisons.
Not many.
Not many?
Not many. No. I mean, biologically, yes, there is different, like, systems, stomachs, monogastric, polygastric. Birds fucking, like, chickens eat rocks to chew up their food, you know? But when it comes to, like, animals themselves, a dog isn't that far from a human. How they think. You know, they have emotions. Animals have emotions, you know? They need food to live. They need to socialize, or most do at least. They're not that far from humans at all, no.
You can make a very good argument that if you put an animal, and if you put a human in a very animal-like situation, let's say a cat, for instance. A cat in the city is literally just scraping around trash cans, desperately looking for food. I argue if you put a human in a similar situation, he would do a very similar thing.
Yeah.
Just devoid of all, like, human-like ideas. And so I think, I kind of agree there's not too much in common.
They're very similar.
Yeah, I think so. I think the main difference is being the only one being the ability to understand language. I think it's like the biggest one, like complex like language ideas.
I think
The thing is, humans what separates humans from other animals is that humans can understand grammar. You can teach monkey words. That is true. You can teach animals words. You just can't teach them grammar.
I also agree. I think animals and humans are very alike, but what humans have over animals is their ability to learn and pick up things so easily. Like there was this gorilla, the Coco the gorilla, trained by Jane Goodall or whatever, or I believe Jane Goodall. The animal, the monkey, he learned how to like speak sign language, ASL. He talked to the woman fluently, but it took him years, like years and years and years, until he was very old, to then which he can communicate with the human. humans, it takes them like a year. Like when they're a child, they understand instantly. We learn a lot easier, and we're very technology based. We make tools to survive. Animals, they kind of stick to themselves. Some animals use tools like how monkeys use sticks to pick up ants, but we adapt a lot easier. Yeah.
Are you a content creator at all?
Am I? Oh, I wish to be.
You don't make any videos?
No.
Really? You wish you were?
Yeah, it's a side thing. I don't want to pursue it as a career, but
never.
I'd like to make content just for the fun of it. Yeah.
What would be the subject?
Anything. From stuff like interviews to like research projects. They're getting louder and louder. They're getting louder and louder. To just entertainment in general. Like my friend has been trying to convince me to make a fucking TikTok account. Like, I don't know. More personal things. Maybe some entertainment, I don't know.
I feel like why I'm so against like doing that is two things. One, like copyright, YouTube like strikes, even like just any form of copywriting. And two, editing. Video editing is like, because I've played with video editing before in the past. Yeah. It's just something I really hate. Like, shout out to like you for like dealing with all that stuff, because like
crazy.
I don't. It's so like, it's so long. Like doing like probably spending a whole day just for a 10-minute video. It's so long just for a small thing, you know. And I feel like that much effort is not worth it. Like, yeah, it's great to see like, oh, I made all these videos. But then again, I feel like it's hard to watch your own video. Like, it's very hard to hear yourself talking. Like, you kind of feel like, ew. Like,
wins a little, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like I wouldn't really feel that kind of confidence to make a video, and I wouldn't really want to anyway. I post one video, some strike, there we go, boom, gone.
There's a reason why I said I'd want to become a content creator, and not that I am a content creator. One, it'd be more for myself rather than, you know, the people. But with the copyright laws, with these video posting websites and everything going on, you know, it takes a lot of work to post something and then keep it up. And I don't feel like I have that motivation yet to even consider like avidly posting.
That's the other one, consistency. Like,
consistency is a big thing.
Making content when you're out of content. Like, I feel like that is the hardest one. And I don't know, I feel like, again, for me, I just don't really see it even for myself, I don't really see it, because like, let's say I have like 20 good ideas and then eventually I run out of ideas, and then I just don't want to make like shit content just for the sake of views, you know?
Well, I wouldn't want to stick to myself. I wouldn't want to be like tied to the like, oh shit, I have to make a video by next week, you know?
No. I just wouldn't, I wouldn't do it.
That's fair.
Even if there was no copyright or whatever, I just wouldn't do it.
It's always been a thought in the back of my mind, but it's never been like prevalent enough to pursue it avidly.
Yeah, I get you.
Maybe one day, but that day's not today, sadly. I don't know.
You want to move again?
It depends what schools we go to too, because like the school could also like think it's the complete opposite of a parent, and now create a conflict. Because I think until a certain point, it's what your parents raise you. I think that honestly, the schools raise you, which is something, that's a whole like other like wormhole, but I don't like how it's your teachers that are raising you as a kid. I think it's really the teachers for the most part until a certain point. I mean, the whole point of our society is that the parents go to work, they put their kids to school so they can learn, but at the same time be taken care of, and then you take them back at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So that's the whole point of our society. So most of the time you spend, again, assuming once you're at the age where you can go to school, most of the time it's with the teacher.
A lot of the time.
And I'm not really a personal fan of that, because, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's definitely some great teachers out there, but there's also a lot where, in my opinion, the smartest people don't become teachers. I don't think so.
Let's talk nature versus nurture. Let's say you was raised by a whole different family. How would you turn out?
Whole different family, whole different area?
Yeah.
I'd probably turn out way different, because a lot of what you become is what you're surrounded with. If you're surrounded with crazy people, home raised, you're gonna become, you know, like them. But if I was surrounded by a whole different family, I probably wouldn't keep any of the same characteristics I do right now. Maybe depending on the area, it could change that a bit more. But as you said, it all stands out to be like, where do you grow up? I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't grow up where I grew up, you know?
There's very small things that grow into very big things. Like,
yeah.
Your sense of humor is based on who you're around. if things, to me, like there are so many times where like, let's say like I'm talking to like older people, and they just laugh every time. And like you kind of laugh back as well, but it's not really funny. You know what I mean? You don't really have that real laugh. But maybe to them it's genuinely funny. You know? It depends on the way you're raised and what kind of jokes are being thought of as funny. Because I think as a kid, like really, when you really don't understand things, you're just mimicking a lot. And so if you're gonna mimic a lot as a kid, as a while that just forms into your foundation. That just becomes who you are. So it really bases on your surroundings. I think I would just be a completely different person. A different family, different everything. I'd be completely different. Nothing like the way I am now.
Yeah. There's a stage in some like animals and shit called the imprinting stage, and that's usually right after birth. So if you take like a baby duck and you put him with like a dog or a cat rather than the baby's mom, the baby duck's gonna imprint on the dog and he's gonna start acting like a fucking dog. Yeah, so when you take a kid and the kid's growing up and he's grown up with a dad that drinks a lot and he curses a lot and he's very clumsy, and a mom that usually isn't there, the kid's probably gonna end up not so like happy. He's gonna end up a bit disheveled, he's gonna have mess everywhere, mentally not in the right spot, but he's probably gonna carry some of the dad's characteristics over with him in the later long-term run. And that's happened to me. My dad wasn't like that at all, but I took some of his characteristics because I was around him so much growing up. So I have some of his sense of humor and I have some of his characteristics. So if I grew up completely differently with a different family, I'd probably be like a polar opposite of what I am today. Comes the worst.
Completely different person.
Yeah, completely different person.
How would you like to answer some dating questions?
Some what questions?
Dating questions.
Dating questions? Sure, go for it.
Yeah, why not?
All right, now, a lot of guys, when they see a girl they like, they'll ask her out, but she'll turn him down, but he'll keep trying. Like if he sees her again 2 months later, he's gonna say, hey, you know, I'm gonna give it another shot. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think he should keep trying, or should he just give up? Because there's two sides of this. Some people will tell me, well, you know, there's so many other women out there, just go meet somebody that likes you, you know. But other people will say, you got to keep trying. You never know. You could change somebody's mind. And I've had that happen to me. No woman has ever liked me the first time they met me. They've had to see me in different circumstances, know me through different people in order to like me. So where do you stand on that?
Okay, so
You go first.
first of all, I'm gonna exclude like the cases that are like creepy people that are just constantly asking like every moment, because that's a whole other like wormhole. Like, you know, like where the people are asking so much is borderline harassment. I'm gonna exclude that because I don't think that's what this is about. I think this is what you know, you ask once and then you ask a month later after talking and being friends. I think that's what this is talking about, so I'm just gonna put that out the side. I think you should keep going, in my opinion. I think you should keep going because the fact that the second there's any confirmation of romantic interest, immediately that relationship between that person changes. It might be possible that she really just didn't think about you romantically. She possibly just didn't think about it. And I really think if you try again and she really sees the way you are, it's gonna be awkward at first, but I feel like you can really make your chances up. And again, it doesn't hurt to try because they literally are following us.
They're following us, man. It's a conspiracy. That crazy guy was right.
He was right, dude. It's the FBI. They're trying to track us. You say, you know,
they're taking the knowledge.
I think it's worth a shot.
It's worth a shot. So you would advise that they keep trying.
Yeah, I think they keep trying. Honestly,
don't give up.
I would say don't give up because there is a certain point where, you know, it gets a little bit too creepy. But I think honestly, I would say 2 to 3 tries. And then you have to make a judgment from there if it's still worth trying. But I think at the very most, giving it a second try is still a good idea.
So you believe women can't be convinced?
Yeah, I think so.
It's all subjective, really. I think there's some cases where you should keep trying. There's some where you just shouldn't. Because there's some people, like, once they make their mind up about you, they stick with that for fucking ever. Girl in my dorms, she first saw me as, like, when she first met me, she was like, oh, this kid's so young, dude, he's a child. And we didn't know each other at all. We did group projects together. I spent nights in her room, you know, all this stuff. And in the end, she still saw me the same exact way. There's some people, when they see something, they'll stick with it. And they'll make their mind up about you. And in those cases, maybe not to go for it because they're just gonna keep saying the same thing over. But in case,
but why? You know, like.
but yeah, well, that's also because once they make their mind up, it's really, really hard to change their mind. Like to the point where it's like, why? You're just stressing yourself out over this.
I mean, it's like I said before. Once there's like a confirmation of interest, immediately your relationship changes. You can't go back.
Yeah, you can.
You can't go back, so why stop? I mean, obviously there's a point, like I said, after 2 or 3 times, if it really isn't working, move on. But why does it hurt to make the second try? The relationship already changed. There's no going back, so why is it hurt to make the second one?
Because if you keep pushing on, it may just get even worse. She may think you was creepy. She may think,
but you don't
this guy's not getting the right
even
answer.
the second try. Not even a second try.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah. There's been cases where it's just like, after the second try, it's like, dude, I told you what I thought.
Again,
no,
I'm trying to,
even though it's been months later.
I'm trying to exclude like the whole like creepy thing. 'Cause that's a whole But I'm saying like even like, let's say you talk and things get better, and after like a month or 2 or something, and then you try asking out again.
I think the cases of when they made their mind up about you already, I mean, yeah, theoretically you could change their mind, but it would take a lot of effort. And like realistically, the chances that I've seen people have of that are slim to none. And there are the chances, but once they say no, it takes a lot of dedication and a lot of bonding to change their mind. To the point where some people may just like drag themselves down over it, you know? And once they say no again, if it happens, they'll be like, I worked so hard for what, you know? In that case, I think it might honestly just be better just to move on. As you mentioned, there's so many other women out there. But I think it's possible you could change someone's mind once you get to know them.
You're just saying the likelihood of that happening is not worth the emotional damage.
I think what he's saying is he would rather put that effort towards just meeting somebody else. Right?
Yeah, because if they say no, I mean, the chances, the people that I've met in my personal life, I've seen them get rejected by the same guy. The guy will like spend forever with them.
Well, again, that's why I said after 2 or 3, there's a certain point. You know, there's a line where you just...
there's a line.
You're investing too much. I still think after...
No, I'm saying, like, just like if you see the woman 2 months later.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
No, I think so. I think so 100%. If you still like her then, that's saying a lot about how you feel about her.
Okay, then yeah.
Well, now you're kind of changing your point. Because
I'm not talking about like calling them up like all the time.
No, but I think the chances of them saying yes are slim. I still think that at some point it's just, why even bother? Because there's a good chance you might just bring yourself down again. But I think it's possible to change their mind.
No, yeah, 100% agree it's possible. I mean, there's definitely, again, like, it's not like I said, it's already changed. What's there to lose? If you still like her after that so long, it says a lot. But of course, there is a line where obviously it's destroying yourself.
Yeah, and at that point.
But I still believe a second.
Okay.
I still believe a second. It's still good.
All right. When it comes to meeting women, how important is it to dress nicely? Do you see a difference when you dress nicer or when you dress badly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
That's a very, a very clear.
Yeah, I've had cases where the first time I met a girl or someone, I was dressed like a fucking slob, you know? I look like shit. And first impressions are a lot. Sadly, people judge each other based on appearances nowadays at first glance. Be like, oh,
nowadays.
No, they always do.
Yeah.
But you look at somebody and be like, oh, wow, this guy is like, his jeans are ripped, his shirt's ripped, his hair is disheveled, he's wearing sweatpants, you know, he may not look at his best. And sadly, some people may be like, oh wow, this guy's probably like crazy or something, or he does drugs. Next time you see him, they may be like super dappered up and super nice looking. They may look completely different, and that may change it. But I think when it comes to first impressions, how you present yourself, physically and like emotionally, and how you exude your personality is a big trait.
It's very strange because like we're kind of hypocritical as humans in the sense that I wear like really like shit clothing. Like I just really don't care. And then but I still judge people anyway, like at the first appearance if I see other people with shitty clothing. It's just a thing people do.
Yeah.
It's very strange, but
I'm the same way. If I see a woman wearing baggy pants, I'm like,
Yeah, that's it.
Hell
like,
no.
But
and then I'm looked down and I'm wearing the baggy pants.
I'm wearing like full Adidas.
Yeah,
like,
not me, dude.
No, but I've also had other people say that if you dress poorly, that reflects your personality. It means you don't care about yourself.
But we're talking about first appearance.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If this was in the long run,
no, I mean first
First
meeting.
appearance,
Yeah,
yeah. like,
but it's first
yeah.
appearance, and then your clothes
if
matter.
If I'm running a
100%,
Target and I'm wearing like baggy sweatpants and like just a
Because they
loose
don't know
hoodie.
your personality. All they can judge you
Yeah,
is on
you're like,
the way you
oh,
look.
this guy's dressed poorly. He probably acts poorly too.
Yeah.
If I run a Target without the baggy sweatpants, if I'm wearing like nice slim chinos and like a nice jacket, people may think otherwise, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So I think huge, very important for first appearance.
Yeah.
Also, how you present yourself too.
Yeah, the small
Rather than
things,
how you-
posture.
Posture's a big one. How you talk's a big one. Your manners towards people is a big one. But when it comes to physical dressing, I think it does matter a
I
bit.
think it matters a lot. I would
Yeah.
say a lot.
A lot.
All right, now, what are your thoughts on men approaching women in public spaces like this? Because you'll see men trying to pick women up here in this park.
Yeah.
Some guys come here only to pick up women, but you know, there's two ways of looking at it, and some people will say, "This woman's here just to hang out. Don't bother her," and then other people will say, "I don't care. She looks good. I'm going over there." What are your thoughts on that?
I think the idea of it's fine. It's how you do it is what makes it weird. Because you can be like the nicest person out there. You can be like, hey, I think you're very nice looking. I'd like to get to know you, you know? And, you know, it comes off as fine. Some people may find it offensive, like catcalling, oh, I'm being sexually harassed, this, that. But I think inherently it's okay to come up to someone and be like, hey, I like how you look nice. Do you want to like go out for coffee sometime? I think that's fine, but it's when you get to the point of saying, damn bitch, do you fart with that ass? It's like, dude, you're being a bit disrespectful. It's kind of wrong, you know? I think it's what you say. I think the idea of going up to someone and complimenting them is fine, and trying to get to know them is fine. It's what you say. Like, if you act like an asshole, if you're verbally sexually harassing someone, that's wrong. That
one
is
thing
wrong.
that's clear, she says no, stop.
Yeah. When
That's
she
the
says-
clear.
when
If
she
says
says
go
no,
away, I don't want to talk to you. Like
That's a no.
That's literally the
Yeah,
clear.
you
But
don't go any
putting
farther
that
after
aside,
that.
that's a given. I think it should be encouraged. I think it should be a good thing to do, just because. Think about it. If we don't promote it, it's just gonna promote like this culture where like guys are afraid to talk to women, and I think that just really just brings down a lot of confidence in like a lot
It
of
does.
guys, you know. And like how you gonna meet people, you know. I mean, especially like now. I mean, like then again, like people like more social, but even then, like it's just you know like it's just I don't even know how to describe it too well. Not gonna lie.
I had a woman tell me that this is not the kind of place to meet women, and that if you want to meet me at a function. So, in other words, what she's trying to say is that there's a right place to do these kinds of things and a wrong place, and that's the way she saw it. She's like, I don't care who you are. Like, if I'm just sitting here, don't bother me. That was what she was trying to say. But you know, there's two sides to everything.
Yeah,
Alright.
there's some people that come here to meet other people.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, like this is a social gathering. So like, I mean, if it's a social gathering, why not? You know, like obviously, context matters. Work is a different thing, but this is literally a place where
like,
other people meet
if
each other.
you're sitting at the DMV and you go over to like compliment and start talking to someone, that's kind of weird.
Yeah,
Some people will find that weird if you start trying to flirt with someone in the DMV or
DMV of
like,
all places. That's the
you know, here. Yeah, I could see people doing that. I could see people talking. I feel like it'd be all right here. Some people may not. Some people may just be here to chill with their friends, no more, no less. But there's definitely people over there that are looking to meet someone. Yeah.
All right, next question. What are your thoughts on online dating?
It's fine. It happens, but I feel like it's not like as effective. You know, I don't know how to describe it. Like if I meet someone online and we get to know each other and we bond, yeah, cool. But it's a bit different from meeting someone in person, I think. Because you don't fully get to see them in person. Are we talking about like meeting them online and staying online, or meeting them online and then...
Just using it as a tool to meet somebody and then meeting them here or somewhere.
Oh, online dating.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
online dating,
Oh,
using
okay.
that as a tool.
I thought you meant like full, like long
Full
distance.
online, yeah.
no,
Oh,
no.
okay.
Yeah.
I think it's fine. I think people that want to do it are gonna do it. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it.
because there's people who will say I'm too scared to meet people in person, so I have to
Go,
use,
yeah.
I have to take the easy way out.
Yeah, to each their own.
Yeah.
Me personally, I like meeting someone in person and getting to know them in person first. Some people don't. I think it's fine.
Because it's kind of hard to, you know.
Yeah, nowadays, like.
It's hard to give your personality through a profile. Right?
It is.
What bothers me is, okay, I don't really have a problem with it. It's not something
same.
I personally want to use because of two things. It's because I don't think matches for relationships should be through an algorithm. I think that's very not human, in the sense that, like, you know, like the whole Tinder algorithm, for example.
Yeah, that's.
I think that's very like artificial, and with Tinder culture, guys and like even like girls, they really go all out just to put on their profile, like just to put all this stuff. They really show the best parts, the perfect parts of their life, and I really don't like that kind of a culture. I think it's kind of disturbing.
That's why I don't stick to dating.
And again,
apps.
the way you're literally through an algorithm. It's personally, again, I don't have a problem if other people use it. It's just not for me.
I agree.
For that reason.
I think the interactions and the people you meet, it could come off as like superficial because it's all going through. Oh, do I like how this person looks? And like some algorithm of some bullshit, you know? I'd prefer to meet someone in person and, you know, get to know them over person, because it's like, oh, I met this person by chance and by actually getting to know them, not by swiping left or right and some weird percentage chance online, you know?
The one thing is I want to say is that I've tried like Tinder before. What I find extremely disturbing is like how fast you get at swiping. I find that horrifying. Like the fact that, think about it, right?
Yeah.
The fact that you look at a girl's profile, you see one thing you don't like, boom, swipe right away, swipe right away. But it's not like that when you're actually dating. Your girlfriend will probably have flaws, but you still disregard them anyway. It's so weird how I find one slight thing, I'm like swipe away, swipe away, swipe away, swipe away. It's you get really
too
fast.
superficial.
Yeah, really
it's very
superficial. I really,
superficial.
it's not
Surface
just not
level
for me,
kind
you
of.
know? Very surface level.
I think there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, as you mentioned, I would never try it.
Yeah.
I would never.
Never
no.
tried it yet.
All right, now do you usually meet women through people you know, or like do you just go around like looking for women, or is it usually through people you know?
I mean, I don't inherently go looking around for women. It's usually if I see someone in my class that I think's nice, or if I see something like someone, like we're hanging out and like a mutual friend comes along. So I guess through people, in a way through people.
Through introductions?
Through introductions, but there's also been people I've met through myself. You know, I had a class with a girl and we started talking for a while and we went out. But for the most part, it's just through people and through common traits and like occurrences. Like, yeah, I would never go looking around here for a girl. I'd meet someone through class, through work, through coincidence of like we're doing the same thing, you know?
Yeah, it'd be the same for me. Like, it's always class, work, or something like that. Like, I don't know. I feel like
It's
I
not
don't.
gonna be at the DMV.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I
right?
wouldn't-
No,
even
no,
for me,
no,
like,
not the DMV.
I wouldn't say personally I have like the kind of confidence to just approach a girl like here. As much as I was saying earlier, like I think it should be encouraged. Even for me, I don't really have that personal kind of confidence to just approach a girl like that. You know, because like what if like the whole girl's like get away from me, like kind of a thing, you know? So it's only been through mutual, like I would say, mutual school, work, etc.
Yeah.
I just never just met a girl randomly with zero connection whatsoever.
What kind of signals should I look for from her body language to indicate that I should approach her?
Look for someone that's already like sociable and like socializing, you know? If you see a girl with headphones on sitting in the corner, I wouldn't recommend talking to her because she probably doesn't want to talk right now. If you see a girl like already hanging out with a bunch of people, you know, she's moving around, you know, she's actually talking to people. Yeah, maybe. I definitely wouldn't go for like the girl over there with headphones on sitting by herself. I think if they look like they want to talk and they are talking to people, yeah, maybe, but there's signs of like, just don't go for this person. They don't want to socialize right now.
Yeah, it'd be a lot more like a lot of small stuff too, like crossing your arms or like
Yeah,
a
like-
very stiff, and like
Your
direct
legs
eye
are
contact,
like spread, your arms are moving about.
or
you
like
know?
very short and blunt like very short and direct statements.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like those kind of things is like immediate signal, like nah,
No.
like go away. I mean, it's like if you try to like talk for a little bit and she doesn't seem like she has any like she doesn't want to talk.
Well, yeah, then of
yeah,
course. it's
yeah.
like,
I mean, that's literally like the question. But like, I guess to be more specific, like arms crossed, headphones in is a very good one as well.
yeah,
Things
just like
that.
sitting.
Yeah, like a very clear like lack of interest. I
Yeah.
would say.
I agree.
Or the word creepy came up a lot during this conversation.
Yeah.
How would you describe creepy?
Persistent to the point. I'd consider creepy like persistent to the point where it's kind of invading their personal bounds. Like once they say no, and then you still go like follow for it, that's creepy. Because they already told you like back off right now, buddy. I don't want anything. Chill. And then you still go for it. That's like you're invading their personal bounds right there. That's kind of weird. That's gross. No means no.
Yeah.
So not knowing your boundaries.
Yeah, not knowing your boundaries.
I would say it's to the point where the person that's keep persisting is not even thinking about the other person anymore. The person is just so consumed in their own like self-interest, in the sense that saying like, oh, what if I get laid with this girl tonight? And
Yeah.
he just keeps going and going, and he has that thought in his head. He's not even considering the other person's body language or anything like that. So I would just say being stuck in your own mind, like not even thinking about the other person's intent, and you're just ignoring her rejection. At that point, that's when you start to just become creepy.
Yeah, that is creepy.
Not being considerate, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Not being considerate.
Okay, now do you want to plug into your social media?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure, why not?
eCarvelas, GCARVELLAS. I'm on Instagram.
What about you?
I ain't got no YouTube channel. I ain't got none of that, but I do have an Instagram.
Okay.
Matthew.hfmn. That's about it though.
You want to give a shout out to anybody?
Shout out. Shout out to my boy Jeffrey. We all know Jeffrey. I love Jeffrey. Shout out to my boys, you know?
Shout out to Kang.
Shout out to Matt, Brecken.
Yeah, all those boys.
Oh, the boys.
Especially Sinclair,
you know who
too.
you're talking about, especially
too.
Sinclair.
Never made that phone call. Never met all of you guys. You know.
Yep.
Shout out to them.
Shout out.
to them.
You know who you are. You know who you are.
Yeah.
And
Alright.
yeah, shout out to my parents.
Yeah.
So
Shout out to
I wouldn't be here. Cheers.
Shout out to my family. You know. Shout out to them.
Do I have your permission to put this on the internet?
Yeah, go for it.
Go
Yeah,
for
you got
it, of
permission.
course,
Yeah.